Hey, good morning. It is Thursday, March 3rd, 2016, and let's take a look at the calendar because the Fed is looking at the ISM non-manufacturing employment as well as the non-manufacturing for February numbers. We are going to have the Fed meet this month to decide whether they're going to continue their path of rate increases. From what they've told Congress in their beige book, the growth is continuing, the employment is firming, yet the data is mixed across the country as some parts of our country have not caught up to the expansion yet. So there may be a glimmer of hope that we hold on to a no movement February. Um, However, as I say, the ISM manufacturing and employment on Friday are non-farm payrolls, which we'll be trading this Friday in the trade room, um, could make an impact on the Fed's decision to go ahead and raise an additional 25 basis point because, as you know, that's next to nothing. I mean, seriously. And they can always pull it back if they need to, I guess. So we'll be looking at ISM in the trade room this morning. Let's look at the calendar real quick. Futures trading is substantially risky and not for every investor. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and no representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. We do have our trade room up and running, 7:30 to 10:30. The members have a full package of what the setups are and how to trade them. Non-members can view the charts without purchasing the software, sort of like getting a chance to kick the tires to see how the system works. So please feel free to stop in, whether you're a member or a non-member. Everyone is welcome. Getting back to the business headlines, first let me show you the map. The dollar is falling a little bit this morning, which will give the indexes and crude the ability to continue their rallies. Although the the number for the inventory out of Cushing, the 10 million, excuse me, is just huge. I mean, it's just enormous. We cannot sell our product. We can produce our product, but our product, again, our storage tankers are full. There's nowhere to ship it. They're having to look for these off-site containment facilities because we're producing all this product, but nobody's buying it. We're competing with a global market now, but again, we're like it's all in a new arena of everybody trying to get their product sold. And China, the big order taker, is falling. We have a double dip of warnings. The country itself fudged their numbers, and then this last week I read that the companies that report to the government fudge their numbers also. So it's a double fudge factor for anything that comes out of China. So when they say that their growth slowed, their nominal GDP growth, they're saying slowed further than it has in years, it's probably twice or three times worse than that, is what I'm trying to say. You can't take any number that they give you with any dose of reality. It's much worse, and I think the people in the governments and the money banks and central banks know this, so that must have them very scared. We can look to India, and I'll start looking for other emerging markets that are going to be growing, because I think that India and the Asia markets might pull us out. Other Central Asia markets might pull us out of this global recession before China does, as they try to figure out how to become more democratic and capitalists. One real note, real quick, before we go with the charts. This is very sad to me. This guy was very well respected in Houston, did a lot, huge amount of employment, hired a lot of law firms, and gave a lot of people jobs. So this is just extremely sad. And I don't know how much of this was an over aggressive Justice Department. I mean, like if the guy got drunk in a bar 5 years ago and started talking about how he did some deal that kicked off an investigation that ended up with him killing himself, I think that we need to look at the over aggressive tactics that the government uses and whether those charges were even fundamentally correct in the first place. But overall, I'm trying to say that I'm shocked. I'm just shocked. And I'm very sad. So, anyway, getting back at the heat map, you can see on FinViz, things are looking kind of flat to the upside. So we'll have to stay with our weekly daily 60-15. Right now it's still all green and crude. Here is a big picture of what happened. Somebody had a fat finger on 33.56 because to the penny, this level bounced. So the circuit breaker was on here. Nobody was going to let it go below that level, and it was just automatically sent back up. So that lends me to believe that it was a much higher time frame player, and they keep shooting it back up. And as long as it stays above this level, I think that the circuit breaker people will be out of the market and allow the market participants to trade. But as we can see, it might dip down here to challenge it, but there's definitely some higher time frame players trying to prop this market up because the Fed has to get their 2% inflation target, and they're not going to be able to do that with oil sliding back down there to 20 to test 28. So it's green light for crude. I've got my thank you Ninja Trader, kudos to them. Ryan, you're the best. Fixed my data. So now I have my charts and everything back up and running so I can use everything to the fullest extent. He said that I had one of the largest databases that he's ever seen, and I guess you need to not do that. You have to move that stuff out to the cloud and have a small database running within NinjaTrader. So my charts and everything will open much faster now, and my performance will be greatly enhanced. So again, thank you, Ryan. I think the support staff at NinjaTrader is just phenomenal. They've always done such a good job for me. So I can't thank them enough. And let's look at gold. Gold is also moving up. This is unusual where we have gold moving up with the equities and crude. So I would imagine that this is probably going to be the high mark of the day. If these markets start continuing their climb, gold's going to come off. So let's look. We're in a bull flag. So you would expect this to keep climbing from here as bull flags generally break out. So we'll have to see if this breaks out or fails. So I'll be watching very carefully this 3-day pivot high and see if we exceed that to the upside. 1248.8 if you want to mark that. And it would be unusual to get all the markets rallying at the same time. We can just go ahead and run through some of these charts here. Take a look at the E-mini. And you can see it is still moving up. It broke through. And is running now up right here to this level. It hit it. And this level being the pivot low, 1983.25 of December 14th. So we might be at a ceiling and have this come back and retrace. And where is it going to retrace? It's going to come right back down to the what were resistance now becomes support, right? So it's going to come right back down and test it. And it's either going to hold and continue up, or it's going to break through. But this could be very well our pivot high. We could break, a little higher, hit 2000, which would be the bottom of this bar area, 2006. But somewhere in this zone, I will be looking for a retracement in the ES. So we're about out of headroom is what I'm trying to say for the long side. So careful on your longs. And you can see the picture is mixed as people are feeling that headroom. And the market is going sideways. Our River of Gold is at 1974. And here is a big air pocket with a VWAP as a target. So that's it for me for now. Watch the market analyzer. We'll pick a market that is moving directionally. Let me just show you the 6A real quick because I have my eye on that already. Look at this. This is just phenomenal. So we might be trading some 6A in the room today. If you're worried that we're getting in too late, I wouldn't worry. Well, let me take that back. We know where it's going. Here's the pivot high, 7351. So we do have a little bit of room to get there, maybe enough to make some money in the trade room. The momentum is very much strong, very strong. So we might dally in some currencies today as we try to get, when you have the direction guide, here's the currency. It hasn't, the US Open has not started yet. You can put your market on a generic direction guide, and that's without the solver. That will get you in the direction without the solver for the RTH session. So that was an improvement I made to the direction guide. So we know that we're in a very strong uptrend with weekly, daily, 60-15, all green. So we'll be dabbling in the 6A in the room today. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day, and I hope to see you and talk to you soon.